Good morning, Chairman Murkowski, Ranking Member Manchin, and members of the committee. Thank you for holding today's hearing on PILT and the SRS programs, and for inviting me to testify on behalf of the National Association of Counties, NACO, and the nation's 3,069 counties. My name is Stephen Prysunka, and I'm the mayor of the city and borough of Wrangell, Alaska. Wrangell is in southeast Alaska between Ketchikan and Juneau. And if you've ever taken a cruise through Alaska, you likely steamed right by our community, but you more than likely steamed right by our lands. Although I represent our municipal government, I also bring a warm greeting from our Wrangell Cooperative Association, the Shakteen Kwan tribal government, which represents 740 native residents in our area. We work closely with the tribal government to collaborate for the benefit of all community members. Wrangell Borough has a population of roughly 2,500 residents, and is nearly 3,500 square miles in size, or about 1.63 million acres. You could fit Washington, D.C. 50 times over into our borough. I know very well the challenges that public lands and national forest counties face as we seek to provide our residents and visitors with essential services in the face of strict revenue and budgetary constraints. My testimony today offers the local perspective on PILT, SRS, and specific legislation to improve these programs. Rural public land counties face the pressure of smaller tax bases caused by large tracts of untaxable federal lands within their jurisdiction, along with fewer residents and businesses producing revenue. Our borough is geographically large, but 97% of the land within our boundaries is within the Tongass National Forest and cannot be developed. This severely restricts our ability to grow our economy, to create the tax base necessary to provide the legally mandated services to residents and visitors alike. There is no small community exemption to relax a rule for sewage treatment, emergency services, or education standards. PILT particularly addresses lost property tax revenue for counties like mine. Last year, Wrangell received approximately $470,000, or about 29 cents per acre from PILT. Overall, PILT funding accounts for approximately 7% of our annual general fund budget and is used for emergency services such as fire protection and law enforcement. Wrangell relies on these funds to maintain and improve critical infrastructure that any community needs to attract businesses and grow its economy in the long term. PILT directly impacts the quality of life and economic well-being of our community. Losing PILT would result in the loss of important vital services, and the uncertainty of the annual congressional appropriation cycle leaves local government budgets hanging in the balance. Counties support making full funding PILT and making it mandatory in the long term. Earlier this year, the legislation was introduced in both the House and Senate to accomplish this, and the counties support passage of either of these bipartisan bills, H.R. 3043, the Permanently Authorizing PILT Act to make PILT a fully funded mandatory program moving forward, or S. 2480, the PILT Reauthorization Act of 2019 to make PILT mandatory for 10 years. Counties also strongly support S. 2108, the Small County PILT Parity Act, which creates new monetary caps under PILT for counties with populations below 5,000, without affecting PILT payments to more populous counties. This is a positive step to leveling the playing field for public land counties. Should this legislation be enacted, Wrangell Borough would see an estimated $167,000 increase in our PILT payment. Historically, rural counties and schools have relied on a 25% share of receipts from timber harvest to supplement local funding for education services and roads. Over the past 30 years, these revenues have dropped considerably. SRS was developed to aid those impacted communities. Last year, Wrangell received $986,000 in Title I SRS funding, which represents nearly 1/6 of our school district's annual budget. Losing SRS would be catastrophic to our schools, as timber receipts would only make up 4% of our SRS payment. To prevent this, counties is asking Congress to pass S. 430, which would reauthorize SRS for an additional 2 years. As long-term funding solutions for SRS, counties support the Forest Management for Rural Stability Act, S. 1643. This bipartisan bill would create an endowment fund to make permanent SRS payments and eliminate their annual 5% reduction. The bill would also create flexibility in the use of SRS funds to achieve our mutual forest health and economic development goals. Counties hope Congress will act on this legislation soon. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share Wrangell Borough's perspective on PILT and SRS. Counties are depending on Congress to meet this federal obligation to our communities by supporting vital funding for emergency personnel, infrastructure, school teachers, and other public services. We ask you to act to protect and improve these essential programs in fiscal year 2020's appropriations package and in the long term. Thank you.